June 2025, the month where my dreams came true and we jetted off on a 13-hour overnight direct flight to Japan after months of waiting. Leaving 12th of June from the UK, we arrived on the 13th of June at 7 AM, and before the jet lag could even hit me, I was already on UFO catchers and gacha machines, throwing my money away. We visited a few pop-up shops and cafes, adjusted very quickly to the very busy subway, visited Disneyland for the first time ever. Neither of us have ever been to Disneyland before, so it was a nice experience. I escaped from Disney Virgin Jail, and we went on a couple of rides, including Jungle Cruise, Pirates of the Caribbean, where we saw a very realistic Jack Sparrow, found out that Donald Duck was actually real and he's more incomprehensible in person, unexpectedly cried to the beautifully nostalgic fireworks display. That's my child at heart, I guess. And after a few days in Tokyo, we took the Shinkansen to Osaka, and of course stopped off at Universal Studios. After a few days of staying in Osaka, we took a Hello Kitty themed train to Kyoto where we would be staying. And one of the places we visited was the lovely Arashiyama bamboo forest, and aside from the American tourists being loud, it was quite peaceful. But one of my top destinations for this trip was not on any tourist radar. If you didn't know, I am a huge fan of the anime and manga series K-On! A show which I consider my favourite anime of all time due to how comforting and well written it is. Despite on the surface, it's an anime about girls forming a band and playing music, each character has a role to play, and the relationship they all have is one of the most realistic and very heartwarming things I have ever seen portrayed in media. The show even gets the credit to being the first anime to ever make me cry. The show ran from 2009 to 2010 and had a theatrical movie in 2011. And has multiple spin-off mangas, which are yet to be adapted. Come on, KyoAni, I know you want to. The majority of this anime is set in a very much real town, and the school they attend is based off a real place. But the school itself hasn't been functional for many years. Instead, it's open to the public for fans of the series to come and visit and explore all the rooms that appeared in the show. And I've always wanted to go there. Ever since I found out this was a thing, I just had to go there when I was going to Japan. And to get there from Kyoto, you must transfer via a place called Hikone. It took us well over an hour to get to Hikone from Kyoto, and yeah, well, we missed our connecting train and had to wait an hour for the next one. Because what we didn't realise is that the train to Toyosato was not accessible through digital passes such as Suica, which is what we were using at the time. And you needed to buy a manual ticket from a machine the other side of the station. And you needed to get that ticket stamped by a member of staff who would let you through. This, although it was a bit annoying at the time, I would soon appreciate it. Because, number one, we got to explore Hikone for a bit, and that destination was not on our list, and we wouldn't have ever stopped at it. But also, we had a taste for what it used to be like for Japanese people before most stations were replaced with digital. The train ride there was easily the most pleasant experience we had on the entire trip. It was a nice break in between everything, and as visitors to the country, we felt like we were doing something unique that no one else was doing at the time. It wasn't long till we could see the school in the distance, and that's how we knew we had arrived. The entire time we had been in Japan, at that point, was a complete hustle and bustle, with jam-packed trains and tourists everywhere. But for once, everything felt calmer and slower paced, and we were greeted by a cute hare and, well, minions apparently. The influence this show had on the town was already apparent. Mugi was outside of a bakery. This was enough to grab our attention, so we went in and bought some pastries. The shop was covered in merch and posters. Even guitar was here. Now the only thing left to do was to walk to the school. This was also a nice experience for us, walking through a quiet village. It made a nice change just to walk the two of us, with barely anyone around. We walked past a local bank, the Shinkansen flew by, and we saw a restaurant menu for a place that was inside someone's house. After 10 minutes we arrived and it looked exactly like how it did in the show. They had some adorable koi in the pond out front, and there was a sign to say that apparently we showed up on a groundskeeper day, So there were grass trimmings everywhere, but luckily the school was still open. You had to take your shoes off to go in and put slippers on. And once we were in, I approached a room which was basically a small museum. It was cool to look at the pictures, even though I didn't know a word of Japanese. There was even a phone in there, which I'm assuming has been there since the dawn of time, because it was so old. We began to walk upstairs. I pet the little statue turtle as they would in the show, and began to walk through the same hallway the girls would run through. There was a Take One, Leave One community event going on this day, where people could leave used items and take whatever they needed. Oh my god, Timmy mentioned he still got the tag on, which was nice to see actually. We headed upstairs to the clubroom and we were greeted by the iconic Kyoto frog, as well as the whiteboard which had many iconic photos of the show on it. The board was filled with fan messages. There was a piano setup with K-On! Music books if you wanted to play them, and of course, the iconic clubroom table which was set up with Azunyan's mug and saucer, but as well as that, beautiful tea sets, flowers and cake were set up. It was just really surreal to be in this room, after being a fan of the show for so many years. In the storage room you could find all the kotobuki fine china and tea you could ever want, and alongside some spare Azunyan mugs. Going in further, you were connected to another music room with all their instruments on display. And a massive room of space. You could see the playground from the window, and the playground was absolutely massive. There are old drums left out. And the door in here brought you back around to the stairs. I briefly admired the view from the stairwell window. I like to assume this is what the girls would have seen every day. I don't know, I just wanted to feel immersed in the world of K-On!, even if it wasn't real. This was the closest I could get to it. Obviously had to pet the turtle again before I left. And after exploring a few more of the hallways, we went back outside to see the famous statue. We then proceeded to go into the gift shop and merch archive. There was a capsule station that was empty, and at the back of the building was all the merchandise you could ever imagine. Even had the same boombox from the beach episode. So many pictures of the characters. Some put there for when they were celebrating their birthdays on site. Hey, I have that Azusa plush. What are you doing here? You could buy a nano block of the school in the gift shop, amongst other Toyosato elementary items. There wasn't too much K-On! Stuff in here, but I got what I could. There were bakery items here. There was a Ton-chan sweet pastry, which I got. I picked up an exclusive Azusa coaster, as well as an Azusa keychain, since she's my favourite character, and a K-On! Themed pocket mirror. Although we felt bad about it, it was time to try the Ton-chan pastry. Of course I had to bite his head off.
Evil.
It was too tempting. Sorry, Ton-chan. There are also leaflets here you could take advertising the events at the school, and you could buy stamp paper for 50 yen each, and you could use the stamps provided, so we did. A lot of them were missing though. I don't know whether they were broken or just someone took them, but it was a bit disappointing I couldn't find as many character stamps. Like, there was barely any Azusas. We headed upstairs to the second floor of merch, and is that Hatsune Miku?
Hatsune Miku!
There were a ton of figures up here, and I actually hadn't seen some of these before. There was an oversized Azusa plush, which I've been after for some time now, but haven't been able to track down. Standees of the characters, which were very, very cute. Some more instruments, including Mugi's guitar, and a guitar themed with all the characters on it. There was also a replica of the Mio Akiyama fan club welcome sign, and I just had to admire the 5th anniversary figures, which I am yet to purchase for a reasonable price online. One day you will be mine. After all was said and done, we headed back to the train, saw an old Toshiba building on the way there, which was cool, and the Toyosato town hall. As we waited, there was this train going past, and that was very cute. So, would I recommend you come here as a K-On! Fan? Absolutely, if you're around Kyoto and can spare half a day. It's a surreal experience that is sure to be the highlight of your trip. So, what did we do for the rest of our trip? Well, we headed back to Tokyo for a couple more nights, and the hotel we stayed in had the best view of Skytree. I spent a bunch of money in book-offs, and we also went to Disney Sea, which was also really great fun. 100 out of 10 would do it all again. And we still got more to explore, so definitely see you next time, Japan, because we're definitely coming back. Thank you all for watching, and if you made it this far, please consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video.